Good morning, everybody. Hope you guys are having a good day. Today is Wednesday, March 1st. We'll get started shortly. Gonna wait 2 more minutes for people to join up, and then we'll begin. All right, let's start. So first off, let's get going with this um newsletter. Let's go check out what we have today as far as data goes. So of course today is Wednesday, March 1st. We have at 7 a.m. NBA data, which should have already passed, and then at 10 a.m. moving data, which is ISM manufacturing and crude oil data. So definitely watch out for that. Um, as far as that goes, I don't see much else. Today we have sales after hours, plug, SPLK, and a few other companies that are going to have their earnings. As far as pre-market goes, looks like we had Neo, Wendy's, Lowe's, and a few other companies as well. I'm going to watch Costco for their earnings. I want to see how they react today, going into tomorrow. Costco, as you guys know, is in a great setup at the moment, so we'll definitely be watching that to see if there's action. All right, let's get started. Let's get charting. Uh, so far on ES, we're looking at a pretty decent setup, especially pre-market. Um, I believe recently we saw, I believe this was yesterday night, we saw JPM roll back their callers and um they decided to roll in the last 15 minutes and their firm's copy traded, which basically showed market makers squeezed to their sides and the HFTs got ran over, basically saying that another lawsuit may resurface. Okay. I'm reading something on the other screen. Um so there was a big sell-off last night and there was believed to have had sell orders occur in the SPX option chain. Yeah, okay. So here we're seeing a higher low. Big sell off yesterday night. Right here we ended up bouncing off this 3956 spot. We see that we're currently rejecting this spot this morning, high of pre-market and selling off pretty nicely. So far, from what the looks of this week, we've seen a push from this low Friday, high here, and haven't really been able to see a new high since. So, what we're looking at is currently a bearish formation. Of course, we're going down trending. We could either break up today and scalp up a little bit. Anything above this will be a great trade. As far as rebounds go, we can go for pre-market low. But if sellers are strong today, we're going to hit this lower low. I think this is what market wants to see as far as today goes. But we also got to keep in mind we have a lot of demand down here. Um, as far as points go, we got about, let's say, 40 points, 50 points till we hit the demand, which is sort of likely today if we can gain enough selling momentum. I'm going to mark another spot here. Looks like we have potential um, to see a bounce here as well, right here. I'm going to mark this whole spot. Um, and I'm going for this zone here for a few reasons. We got a bounce here. We got a bounces here, two bounces. We got our breaker block. We got our breaker block, as well as a breaker block here, breaker block there. Bounce here, another breaker block. Overall, this could be a level where we see a bounce. Gonna keep it on watch for sure for today. As far as supports go, let's go into the 15-minute. Let's look for some solid setups in there. All right. we're going to look at this possible support. Let's see. I would have marked somewhere near here, but we already broke it. We'll see. We'll see. As far as anything else goes, I like this line here. Could be a resistance, small pullback. I'm gonna watch that for later in the day. So far selling off pre-market. I'd like to see us stay below this low. If we can get lower than that, then we know that we're bearish. You could probably hit a lower low, which means this demand may be the bounce spot that we're going to look for. Or if we head up back towards this resistance, we could see a rejection spot. Or if there's enough volume, we can see a break overall leading us to this target, and overall supply. So profitability for this trade, if we go from the 3975 mark all the way up here, that's a 47-point move to here and to here, 7. It's not bad returns we can get from playing calls, especially if it's bullish. As far as puts go, if we can get below this 15-point move, the reward is also there. We're just gonna have to look at the risk. There could definitely be chop as there was yesterday, right around here. So we'll probably see the same thing. 375 can become a resistance. As you guys know, so far this week it's been a very strong support. So I do want to see it become a level of resistance for buyers and sellers. So I'm going to actually mark this, highlight it a little bit to make sure that we know that this spot is going to be a tough spot for buyers, especially after the week that we've had. All right. Let's go into SPX. Let's see how we're doing here as far as any new levels go. We can look to see pre-market high, high of yesterday's as a possible sell spot. If we do push today, somewhere around here. Now I want to see what else do we see here. Got a possible bounce there, reject. I'm gonna leave that here. I'm gonna mark it as a basic resistance, and we're gonna look to see if that ends up being a rejection spot today. All right. So that, as far as put side goes, we're expected to gap down just based off pre-market. I'm gonna look for 3906 bounces. 3906 is my main bounce spot for SPX. This is where I plan to play calls at. This whole level of demand is a key spot for me. As far as intra-week buyers go, based off Friday's low, we saw lots of strength in buyers between 3947 and 3942. So if we do start to see the same thing where we gain momentum down here and don't have enough volume to continue going lower, then buyers step in, we'll probably get the calls up. All depends on today's price action. We're still in that bearish trend, so we can hit that lower low, especially as we gap down. It all will really depend. Buyers may try to fill the pre-market gap that we do attempt and push us up and then sell back down, just based off the trend that we're looking at. Highs, lows, lower low. So we're probably going to go back, hit the lower low. That's so far the trend. We'll see how it does today. As far as anything else I see for SPX, that is about all. I'm probably going to move on from here and then go into the individual companies. All right, let's begin. Let's go on to Apple. Let's go on the hour. Apple, not a lot that I see. I'm going to clear this chart. I'm going to look at this possible resistance. Let's move around, see what we got. Let's see. I do like this level of selling that we see here. We got a big level of selling at around this price. A little bit more than that too, but we have a bounce here, and then we got a lot of sellers at this spot, especially over here. We're starting to see some Pre-market looks like we're able to hit a higher high, but overall, high here, higher low. Especially as we open, I want to see how we do react there. Um, I want to get some more clear levels, try to find out where we're going to reject if we do, where we're going to bounce, and our range as far as what we can do today. So we're going to move this around and look for possible buy spots. Gonna mark this as a resistance. Let's see. Not much I see as far as patterns go. I mean, overall, we had the idea that sellers are active up here, but if we're gonna go for that support here, we already know that it's going to break pre-market. We already broke post hours. Possibility of us continuing that break is really high. So I mean, we can mark it, but it's not going to serve us much information that now that we know that we're already at that low. So we're probably just gonna continue lower. What I'm looking for right now is just price targets if we do end up falling. And I can see one, but it's a little far out. I believe it was this level right here. We got that. We also got possible bounce right here. To look right there. I want to look back a little farther, see if these levels match up with anything up here. Not much, I say. Probably gonna add this as a level there. I'm going to move this up a little bit to right around here. Right there. All right, so these are the two levels I'm going to watch out for. I like how this one added up to low. We got our 145. I added it because of this resistance here. We also got one right here. We got a support here. Seems to be an overall key level in the past. So if we do end up falling, this could be a bounce. We also got this one here where we obviously got a resistance there, resistance there. We got somewhat of a resistance, overall false break. We got one over here. And yeah, it's a light one. It's not a really big one, but we could definitely use it for profit taking if we do short. As far as resistances go, again, I want to mark one more level. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. We're just going to leave that there and watch it for later and move on. So, like I said, Costco has earnings tomorrow. There's going to be interest in it. As far as any patterns go, yeah, not much I see there. Um, but we do have this where I'm really interested in for buyers if we do gain volume today. This whole retracement demand zone has been something where we've obviously in the past week seen some major buying at. And with that, I want to see us break this sort of trend of high, higher, low, higher, low, higher, low, and start stepping into that higher high, higher high, higher high, higher high, where we will probably reject this retracement. So the opportunity of calls, especially if there's interest in this for today, we can probably see a 2% move, $10 move, which will scalp a few dollars of that. Um, I'll probably mark this if we do end up playing calls. It all depends on interest of investors. If there's no volume, then there's no reason to take it. And if there's no setup, there's also no reason to take it. We just need to see a higher high from yesterday's high, and then I'll probably be interested in taking calls. As far as puts go, if we do break that support and retracement, there's still too much spots for buyers down here that make me just not want to take any sort of calls or puts down there. There's going to be a lot of chop. especially if we get below it. So yeah, I'll leave that there. We got our Costco set up. Let's go on to Nvidia. Nvidia rejected this 238 spot very nicely, eventually breaking that support. Um, as far as highs go, it's gonna be really tough to break the spot. I believe we can start hitting lower lows and continue. Um, but we still have this higher high. As far as anything else goes, 226 acting as a possible support. Pre-market, we can try and get an orb if we continue down there. Get lower and try to play a balance play at 213 to 208. As far as anything else goes, 245, of course, is my main reject spot. Not much else I see here. We got 1, 2, 3 rejects off 238. So if we get a fourth one, we either reject or break. It all depends on volume. So we'll see. Tesla, I'm probably gonna clear chart. Yeah, I'm gonna clear this chart. I'm gonna see how we look today. If we can get a break above 209.62, we can try and hit that high again. Right around here. As far as reject level goes, this spot right around here looks solid for a bounce. And let's go lower. Let's look for targets, potential targets. We got that. That support there could be a bounce. And then finally we got possibly down here. Down here looks to have a lot of buyers. All we see down here is wicks. So with that in mind, we know that buyers are definitely interested in this whole price level. But as far as taking any positions today for this Tesla, there's a lot of risk involved, especially in the option chain. But if we can get above higher high of yesterday, sell off, we can definitely try to hit this new high and continue. Overall, we have a nice sell spot. So we're kind of in the median. We can either go low, we can either go high. Both ways, risk is involved, especially in this whole range that we're in. So we'll see if we get up here, or if we even push a higher high. Sellers are going to be active here for us to short. If we get down here, buyers are going to be active for us to buy. If we break, we can try to achieve this or this spot. Still, the risk to reward in achieving those are a little higher than buying the lows and the highs. So I'm probably going to leave Tesla here and then move on to our next one. So yesterday, I was watching Meta for calls above this break. We broke immediately after open, didn't get a fill, so I called it a day there. Um, and we were able to push, and of course, it ended up being a stock that was relatively watched yesterday. We had some profit taking at close, which caused a little sell there. As far as higher highs go, today it's going to be a little tough for us to break. As you guys see, we're forming a support on pre-market low. We got yesterday's retrace, and then we got our low, post-hour low, and then pre-market low. If we fall below that, then we're hitting lower lows, and we can probably achieve uh, 173.72 support and or 172.26. As far as higher highs go, if we break this, I want to see 180, but overall 180 is a huge sell spot, so just keep that in mind. For anything else, not much I see as far as continuation goes. I'll probably move on to the next one. All right. Now we got our Amazon position. I'm going to clear the chart for this one again. I do want to have this saved. Let's see. All right. We'll have this one saved. We're going to look at how we react to this demand again. As far as resistance goes, let's look at let's see. Not much as far as wedge resistance goes. We do see low. The trend so far is low or high here, higher low, higher low, higher low. Just a continuation of just selling. But now we're starting to see that momentum come in, which we see that by curvature first off, and then the low went from high here, higher low, to now low here, lower high, lower high. So the trend went from this, this to now this, where we could see a bear flag and a drop down, or we could see a continuation pop, hit a higher high, which our goal would probably be for a higher high, would most likely be, well, it looks like we already achieved that pre-market. It would probably have been around here, but we'd also like to see it go above here, which also seems to be a small sell spot that we could watch out for. Let me get this a little closer. I'm going to watch this spot for sell. I think sellers are going to be interested at this price. So our range right now is a little like this. As far as interest goes in both sides of the market, I don't really see too much else here. I think what I'm going to do today is if we get up here, I'm going to short. If we get down here, I'm going to see if there's volume again. I don't want to see a retest. Retest could be bad for this level, which means we could hit a lower low. But if we do approach it and we gain that volume, then we can play some calls to the upside. As far as buyers go in this stock specifically, we haven't really been seeing it too strong lately. Buyers haven't really been fairly strong. We've had our buy here. We had a pullback and then a bounce. Looks like a buy and then a short, pullback and then a bounce. But as far as continuation day after day, we haven't seen it. So our trend currently is red. But then if we can get a push today, then we can definitely see some strength throughout the week. Gonna mark down this level here. Gotta keep in mind that that could be a possible bear flag for the week. And then we'll move on from there. All right. We got our AMD chart. AMD so far chopping. Looks like buyers or sellers have been interested down here now. I wanted to see sellers up here to short because this spot 80.89 retracement plus supply has been a good spot for sellers, but it looks like we're also a little bit more on the selling side down here. We see that by these wicks, these long wicks. We know that sellers are active over here. So if we attempt again today, there's a good chance we'll start to see again more sellers there. So I want to mark down this resistance as key levels right here. We got our 80.13 seems to be a key level. We got a possible resistance there, 79.56. Now, as far as support goes, retracement I'd like to see for a bounce. As far as buyers go, I'm gonna leave this level here as we got our high, our low here, our lower high. So we could squeeze and eventually either break down, which is likely since we have the supply, or break up and hit the supply and reject. This looks like it's gonna take time to do, so I'm gonna leave it there for now. Unless we get up here and we see some momentum loss, we can try to short it. Looks like shorting so far throughout the week, the profitability has been fairly high, especially for AMD. We've seen some big moves down lately, so it would be interesting to watch if sellers are strong later today. And we'll just be patient. I'll mark this down and we'll have an idea there for later. All right. Netflix. I don't really like trading Netflix as far as this week's goes. We're still chopping at the spot. If we can hit that 314, and gain volume, we can play some calls. If we break it, then we can play some puts. Um, or we could just be patient because puts still look a little risky down here. Seems more like a call spot. As far as rejection goes, we got this whole area of supply that we can see for rejection. So yeah, again, if we go down here, up here, we can sell. If we go up here, we can buy. Or if we break below, just stay patient. It all depends. So we'll move on. HD still stuck in this higher low range. Does look like buyers really want to keep us above this 292 level, which is a key spot from back here. Back then, we got our balance, reject, reject. As far as anything else goes, not much I'm looking at. If we re-step into that 292 spot, I'll look into trying to buy some calls. If we break above with the strength, let's say we had a false break here, we can look into calls. But overall, price target, I think buyers are going to try to achieve first off earnings gap fill, but also this demand could become a strong supply. This has been a demand since November 22. So for this to be a few months long, I think this is something that people are going to try, or investors are going to try and see as a target. All right, let's move on. All right, if you guys have any questions, let me know. Someone asked if I'm using TradingView. I am. Yeah, this is TradingView. All right, we're gonna go past these next few lists, and then we're gonna call it a stream here. As far as Microsoft goes, nothing I really see that catches my interest. I'm probably not going to take anything on Microsoft. We are seeing this gain though in momentum. We got the sell curve, starting to see that buyer start to step in at this range. So there is interest down here. As far as consistent interest, we've only really seen evidence of 1-2 days. Nothing really else. So if we do hit a higher high, then of course you're going to expect buyers to continue till we hit this range and then sell off. So yeah, that's it for Microsoft. BA has really had that strength on the 197 to 200 range. Um, we still have yet to hit a higher high, but I do want to watch it for swings. BA, as you guys can see, massive sell-off last week, as well as the week before. This week, we're actually finally starting to see some retrace, some buyers' interest. So we could be loading up on calls, especially if we start to gain that bullish trend again. But as far as market position goes, I do want to wait a little bit on that before taking any sort of calls for swings, as we are still below demand or supply, and our demand is very tight. We have to wait a little bit till we touch it. We're about 50 points away from it. So I don't want to take any call swings, especially for BA that is very moved by SPY. So I'm probably not going to take anything there. We've got a really slow downtrend on Disney. Still nothing here that I would take. Just no profit moves in terms of calls. As far as puts go, could go lower. Um, I just wouldn't say it's a worth it investment at the moment. So we'll move on. This demand seems to be bringing us up a few times on Google. Still not something I'm going to touch. Gonna leave some time. May watch a resistance here. If we get above it, we get an alert. Pre-market high, potential resistance, 91.90. And then, or 91.01, we can try and get some calls there, break above 91.26 price target, and even 92.34. Walmart, still waiting on Walmart to either hit this demand or continue up and then hit this supply. We still have yet to hit a lower low, so our indication of a bearish trend is not there yet. But as far as higher lows go, we have been hitting that. So if we can get above higher high, go somewhere around here, we're probably going to reject intraday, or if we continue, reject around here. So yeah, that's it for Walmart. Then we'll go on to PayPal. PayPal, really strong buyers down here at 73.49 to 72. I think we're going to see a continuation once we start to get those bulls coming in. So I think what may happen in the market overall is we're going to sell down to demand, and then buyers are going to seek interest and then buy us up. But we do have that uh we have that Morgan Stanley thing that we also got to be aware of. And then of course today and data. So yeah, that's PayPal. I'm gonna keep watch on this level. Still really like this for calls. But I'm going to be patient. We're still chopping. Swinging is a little risky at the moment. All right, let's see. SQ downtrend. We're still seeing a continuation in this trend. Some chop as far as this goes. So I'm going to leave it there for now, and we'll move on. Not much else I see here on Roku. Gonna probably leave it as well. Um, I do like the 61 spot, but we did bounce off it yesterday. And then we'll go to CRWD. I want to see calls above 122.75 for continuation to 125. Looks like sellers tried to get us to our low. If we do end up hitting the support again, I'll watch for calls. That tends to be a trend today. But if we do push up, I want to watch for calls here as well. We do have this whole gap to fill. Investors are going to try to get us up there, so it's going to be something interesting to watch. As far as AMAT goes, I don't really see anything else. We're still haven't broken the support, so I'm going to still be patient for this one. And then we'll watch to see how we do once we break. We do got sellers up here, potential sellers, but I'm probably just going to leave it for now, and we'll move on to a recap, and then we'll end it here. Someone asked, how do we know there's buyers are strong down here? Are you talking about ES or which stock? Because we know that buyers are strong down here for PayPal, because we keep seeing sellers dropping us down, sellers, and then we are holding above this support that we've seen in the past be useful for us. This support here, we've seen it help us overall. We see that this is a level of interest. Like right here. But we do know that buyers are holding us up because we're currently in that downtrend, right? So if our trend is down, then we should continue seeing us go lower lows. We should continue seeing us go higher lows as well. But what is happening here is instead of us going this direction, we're starting to see this. So we went from downtrend to now consolidation, which is what this is, which is why I'm not going to take a swing right now. I'm going to be patient, see if the market is also going to follow, and then take a swing, calls up. So this is what's currently happening. And let me mark the resistance a little better. We got this as a resistance because we already broke out of it, and we just got our consolidation. So what can happen is we break low, we got another support below it. We can wipe out some sellers there and then push, or we can break out and continue out already. Yeah, so this is how I see that buyers are interested and they're strong down here. Because if we were weak, then we would have sold down lower. That's how that one works. All right, perfect. There's nobody else has questions. All right, so we're gonna go to a quick recap. Looks like we're still selling off. As far as buyers go, we're gonna watch 3939 for buyers. We're gonna watch this whole demand to see if there's interest. Uh, 39. I want to watch yesterday's low at 3956, I believe, for interest in buyers. We're gonna see some volatility there, and we're gonna look at this wedge resistance break. If we get above it, then I'm playing calls, and we're gonna move it up towards uh these targets that I follow. If we do a sell off, we see sell off and momentum loss on this wedge resistance, then we're going to see a short on that as well. As far as anything else goes, 3975 is going to be a highlighted resistance to watch out for. So if we do retrace, watch for rejection there. If we break, then we know there's strength involved because this level is going to be a really tough spot to break as far as buyers go. Anything else that I see? Not much. I'm probably going to end this recap here. I hope you guys have a good trading day. You guys trade smart, trade safe. It's the first day of the month, so let's trade wisely and keep this streak going. I'll see you guys next time. Hope you guys have a good day. Peace out.